You'd be dead in 6 hours. They lasted 6 months. No thermometers. No weather forecasts. No idea if the cold snap would last a week or a decade. And yet, for over 300,000 years, humans not only survived brutal Ice Age winters, they thrived. They didn't just endure the cold. They outthought it. Some of these tricks are so simple, survival experts still teach them today. So how did they actually pull this off? Let's start with the first thing they figured out, and it wasn't fire. Here's the twist: fire wasn't their first move. Shelter was. A fire out in the open just burns bright and dies fast. It heats the air around it for a few feet, then that heat's gone. What they needed was somewhere that trapped heat. So they dug in, literally. Pit houses, half sunk into the earth, insulated with turf, bone, and mammoth hide. The ground itself holds heat far better than open air. It's the exact same principle behind modern earth-sheltered homes. In Ukraine, archaeologists found structures built entirely from mammoth bones, over 60 of them, stacked and arranged like a log cabin, some over 15,000 years old. That's not a hut. That's engineering. And once the shelter was solid, then they brought fire inside, not to survive the cold directly, but to manage it. Contained. Efficient. Controlled. Speaking of fire, here's something wild. They didn't just burn wood. In treeless, frozen landscapes, wood was scarce. So they burned bone. Animal fat inside bone marrow burns slow and hot, almost like a candle. Excavations have found hearths packed with burned bone fragments, meaning Ice Age humans figured out an alternative fuel source most of us would never think to try. They also carried fire, smoldering embers wrapped in moss or bark, kept alive during migration so they never had to start from scratch in a life or death moment. Starting a fire from nothing, in freezing wind, with wet materials. That can take hours you don't have. So they simply didn't let the fire go out. Ever. Next problem: skin. Human skin alone doesn't survive Ice Age temperatures, not even close. So they invented something we still use today, the sewing needle. Around 40,000 years ago, someone carved a needle out of bone, thin enough to pierce hide without splitting it. That single tool changed everything. Instead of just draping animal skins over their bodies like a blanket, they could now tailor them: fitted layers, sealed seams, hoods that trapped heat around the head and neck, where the body loses it fastest. Here's the part that should blow your mind. Researchers comparing Neanderthal remains to early Homo sapiens sites found one likely reason we may have outlasted them wasn't stronger bodies or bigger brains. It was better fitted, layered clothing. Not brute strength. Tailoring. Now here's something that sounds completely backwards. They were obsessed with fat. Not meat. Fat. In brutal cold, a diet of lean meat alone can actually be dangerous. Your body burns through protein fast and can't process it properly without fat alongside it. Modern explorers have a name for this: rabbit starvation. You can eat and still starve to death. Ancient humans, likely through generations of hard experience, learned to prioritize fatty animals, mammoth, seal, bear, over lean, easy prey like rabbit or deer. Fat wasn't a luxury food. It was survival currency, stored energy that kept the body generating heat from the inside out through the coldest stretches. But here's the part almost everyone misses: nobody survived an Ice Age winter alone. Groups shared shelter, body heat, food, and labor, spreading the risk so one bad hunt didn't mean death. And it wasn't just physical support. Elders carried irreplaceable knowledge: which plants were toxic, which frozen rivers were safe to cross, which caves trapped bad air and could kill you in your sleep. In brutal winters, isolation wasn't just lonely, it was often a death sentence. Community wasn't emotional comfort. It was infrastructure, as essential as any tool or shelter. So put it all together: smart shelter, controlled fire, tailored clothing, fat-based diets, and tight-knit groups. That's not luck. That's a system. And it's why humans didn't just survive the Ice Age, they adapted faster than almost any other species on the planet. No fur, no hibernation, no claws or thick hides. Just intelligence, stacked layer on layer, solving one problem at a time. And here's the wildest part, every single one of these strategies, insulation, layering, fat reserves, cooperation, fire management, is still exactly what keeps people alive in extreme cold today. Modern survivalists, Arctic researchers, even military cold weather training. It's the same playbook, tens of thousands of years later. They had no thermometers, no forecasts, no idea what tomorrow's cold would bring. And they still built a way through it that lasted 300,000 years. If you want to see how these exact Ice Age survival tactics are still used by modern explorers today, hit follow. That's the next video.